So let's start. Today we will discuss about the distinction between welfare and well-being. What what is welfare and well-being, and what is welfare? So, is there any distinction between welfare and well-being? Yes. Is there any distinction? Can anyone tell me? Is there any distinction between welfare and well-being? Yes. Is there any distinction between welfare and well-being? You can see the board?
Yes, sir, board.
Yes. Is there any distinction between welfare and well-being? What is well-being? We have discussed well-being. Yes. What is well-being? Well-being is a state of well-being, state of happiness, state of flourishing. We have discussed flourishing. State of flourishing. State of happiness. State of physical fitness. Physical well-being. We have discussed earlier. Physical, mental well-being. State of mental well-being. Psychological well-being, environmental well-being, and there is one occupational well-being. Can anyone tell me what is occupational well-being? Yes. What is occupational well-being?
Yes. Sir, when we are happy with our job or occupations.
Yes. Satisfaction with your job. Satisfaction with job. Like what comes in it? Satisfaction with job. Job satisfaction. From where it comes? From where the satisfaction from the job comes? What are the important elements in satisfaction with your job? Yes.
So good income, sir.
Income, yes. Element income, yes, and good salary should be there. Yes.
Yes, sir, good salary.
Yes.
Vacations, holidays.
Yes. I cannot hear you properly. Can you repeat it?
Holiday proper, sir. Gap. Holidays.
Okay, vacations. Yes. Vacations.
Yes, sir.
Yes. That is also an important element. Vacations, holidays, yes. And yes.
So time of job security, sir.
Job
security.
Security, yes. Job security, yes. And yes, and
so time period.
Time, yes. You can say time, yes. And more important than that. Yes.
Yes, sir. Valued work hours.
Yes, Ubed.
Yes, sir. Valued work hours, like, sir, not overtime. Sometimes
yes, overtime. Yes. That is an irritant. Yes. And
yes, sir.
And what makes your job good? To which job you
satisfaction, sir. Satisfaction,
yes,
sir.
Satisfaction. We are talking about
like we are doing that
from
job.
Where, from where the satisfaction comes about. First, perhaps it is income, salary, vacations. Yes. You have raised a very good point. Vacations. And किस जॉब को आप अच्छा कहते हैं? किसी की जॉब को आप अच्छा कहते हैं तो क्या what elements are there? Before that, we will talk about how welfare and well-being a word about distinction between welfare and well-being. Well-being is an individual concept. It's a state of an individual as a group. Welfare is the mainly the government policies. Welfare is a phenomenon, government policies. That is the main distinction. We will talk about it. But first, we were talking about job satisfaction. Yes.
सर सर जिस जॉब में सर ये सोसाइटी में वेल रिस्पेक्टेड हो जॉब सर उसको हम कह सकते हैं.
Yes, respect. A certain prestige is involved. A certain prestige is involved. Yes, if a certain prestige is involved with your job, a certain respect you get from your job being in that job or in that position in society, you have got a higher niche or a higher social status. So prestige is very important. So prestige, income, vacations, and prestige means social status. We are talking about social status here, respect. And one more thing.
Sir, working condition and safety.
Yes, Firdaus, what you're saying?
Sir, working condition and safety. Sir.
Working conditions, of course, yes, working conditions, and more important than that.
Sir, passionate job, sir. Maybe it's related to our passion.
Yes, passion. If you that's a different thing. If your job supports your passion, or your passion becomes your job, that is a very, very important thing. Okay.
And so job in local area or maybe on state or on districts, it also matters. Liable wage.
Yes.
About liable wage, sir.
Yes. And one thing I want to hear from you is that is utility, importance of your job, importance of your work. How what you think about the importance of your work. Importance, how a significance. What is the significance of your work, of your job? Some of the job satisfaction comes from that. What you think in your perception? What is the importance of your job? What is the importance of your job? Significance, importance, yes, and
the job in native place, sir.
Yes, job in native. Okay, we'll come to. So we were talking about other things. Talking about state of flourishing, state of flow. We talked about earlier. State of happiness. Happiness is a very important condition. Mental, physical. We'll talk about it. So we are talking about what is the main distinction, or what are the main distinctions between welfare and well-being. So we talked about that welfare is the context from the government perspective, or administrator's perspective, or ruler's perspective. So that is very important. So welfare is from the ruler's perspective, and well-being is the individual concept. That is the main distinction between. And what type of welfare schemes are there? Can you list some? Very brief. Yes.
So social assistance programs.
Yes, social assistance. Yes, social assistance and
healthcare, health facilities,
healthcare, yes.
Water
social
facilities,
assistance, healthcare. Yes, and yes, healthcare and
security, just hotel facilities,
security, yes. And employment.
Yes, sir, employment.
Yes. If you are not getting a job, or you are in need of assistance, some assistance schemes are there, some employment schemes are there. In employment scheme, Manrega is there, assistance, uh, Vridha pension, Beruzgari pension, and other.
Indra
Yes.
Awas,
Yes.
Indra Awas, Pradhan Mantri Yojana.
Yes, Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana, yes, Ayush Yojana, yes, like that. Many schemes are there. These schemes come under the purview of uh, welfare and uh, the well-being concept of well-being is related to the state of the individual or the group. Okay, that is the main distinction between welfare and well-being.